Blessed night to you, all my sports to the bone people. This one is a late night update. Yes. So, as we get ready for day 3 of this second test between West Indies and India, I just want to talk a little bit. I was doing some reading and I came across an interview that was done by our vice captain Jamal Warrican. Jamal Warrican was saying that we have the batsmen that are capable of going out there and getting the runs. So he's feeling confident. He had a couple more things to say as relates to the team. So we'll just take a look at that. We're also going to be zooming in on Brian Lara. I was also looking at an article coming out of the Indian Express, and we see where Brian Lara actually went to the West Indies dressing room and spoke to the players. Didn't spoke to the group in general, based on what the report is saying. He spoke with Captain Ruston Chase, Darren Sammy, and a couple of the players. So, according to what they're saying, it was just speaking about West Indies cricket and, a few things that they definitely need to get right. We saw Lara and Sir Viv Richards in the stands or in the box when our guys were batting. At times they didn't look too happy, So I guess he's just trying to pass on some words of wisdom and stuff. So we'll just take a look at that. So just give a listening ear and you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section. All right. So let's start off with Vice Captain Jamal Warrican. Now, you can say that we're putting in our best batting performance so far. We are 140 for 4, 140 for 4. Hopefully we can hold it out and bat a good bit of day 3. You understand? It's still too early, but so far they aren't doing too they aren't doing too bad, because when you look at the levels, levels is the thing. When you look at who we're going up against and where we're playing, the guys are holding their own so far in this innings. So we're hoping that it doesn't go downhill fast, right? So Jamal Warrican was saying that the guys are capable. So this is Warrican now, and I quote: It's going to be very challenging, but I know we have the capable batters and we can do it, right? It's going to be very challenging, but he knows that we have the capable batters and they can go out there and do it. He went on to say it seems to be turning up a lot more on the second day compared to day 1. So we just have to apply ourselves, and that's what we are going to do, end quote for now. Those who have been following this especially the second game, prior to the first day, when we looked at the pitch report, they had indicated that, listen, it's going to favor the batsmen in the initial stage, and then it's going to, the spinners will come into the mix in the latter stages. So I guess that's what Warrican is saying here, right? Remember Warrican himself picked up 3 out of the 5 wickets that India lost, right? Warrican got 3, Chase got 1, that's 4, and then there was a run out. So, right, the spinners doing the work for us. He went on to say, after watching the last couple of games of India against England and New Zealand, it was turning very square from day 1. That was my expectation, but clearly that's not the case, right? He went on to say, I live in the moment, so whoever is in front of me, I try to accomplish it so they don't have to do my job, right? He said that, and then I will do the best that I can. All right, so that is Vice Captain Warrican there, saying that he just wants to make sure that he's there now, so he just needs to make sure that he's pulling his weight. He went on to say, here on day 1 and day 2 seem to be good for batting, right? So day 3 is when the ball really starts to turn. Right, they said that, so it was a bit disappointing for me as a spinner, but at the end of the day, it's a team sport. So hopefully we'll go there and bat well, and yes, put a decent total on the board, right? So, he was saying that even though as a spinner, he would like to be bowling when it is turning a lot, it's a team sport, so they just have to try and see what they can do, right? right? So Warrican is saying that he is positive, he's positive going in, and he knows that the batsmen are capable of doing the job. So that's our vice captain there, Jamal Warrican, saying that we just need to go out there, keep our head down, and grind and work hard. So shout out to our vice captain, Jamal Warrican. Now, Brian Lara, I'm taking this from the Indian Express. Based on what they're saying, he went to the dressing room and he spoke with Captain Raston Chase and Coach Darren Sammy, along with a few of the players. So based on what they're saying, this is it right here. Let me just go straight into it. So it says, and I quote, Brian Lara did visit the West Indies dressing room after the end of the day's play. They said that he didn't make any general address to the players, but spoke separately to Coach Darren Sammy, Captain Raston Chase, and a couple of players. Right? That is what they're saying. They went on to say he was around for close to 20 minutes. They said that the discussion was more generic about the health of West Indies cricket and the way forward. Right? End quote. So, Lara there. Remember a few days ago, I shared a video when he was, basically talking about what Raston Chase had to say. Remember, Chase had, in I think it was a press conference, said that, listen, there's a lot of struggles in terms of finances where West Indies cricket is at. Lara came out and, said that, listen, 30, 40 years ago when they were dominating and ruling the cricketing world, right? They didn't have the facilities, they didn't have the best of things, and they still dominated, right? I call it for what it is. We no longer have players that are passionate to do it like that. Plus, these guys, they are just not at that level. They are just not good enough. You understand? Not saying that we don't produce talent, but as Michael Holding said in an interview a few days ago, the talented players, they are not afforded the opportunity to develop properly. Because, there are a lot of T20 leagues, so a man probably, he has good technique, but he knows that if he can hit some six and hit some fours or, bowl pretty well, he might be able to pick up a T20 contract. So what they used to have to do back in the days, they don't necessarily need to do that. Not saying that it was only West Indies cricket back in the days, because you had people going over and playing, different types of cricket. You have county cricket, you have think it was even Curry Pack and all of these things. I've done videos on these things before that. You had all of that, but what? The main thing was, it wasn't a lot of tournaments where money were where they were pumping monies in. So it was still the best of the best, the creme de la creme, as they like to say, that would get selected to play in those tournaments. So, you find that the guys would still have to make sure that they're performing. Right now, these players, once they come up on the international scene, make a name. Sometimes they don't even get big on the international scene. They might play play CPL, play in a franchise league. People see them and then just start go around and on the circuit. So we're producing these talented players, but we're they are not getting the opportunity to develop, to play at the level that we want them to play. So it's really tough. It's really tough, But we are going into day 3 with fingers crossed. Hopefully we can deal with Jadeja and the other guys there as the wicket continue to turn. You understand? Right now 140. If we can get another 100 or so, that would be nice. That would be nice. Get another 100, put it to 240. I was saying 220 or so, but that would be nice if we can get something there, and then we see where we go from there. That would be an improvement. So yeah, that is pretty much it, my people. Hope you guys are getting yourselves ready to lose your night's rest for day 3. Big up.